Pepsi Paloma's life and untimely death remain one of the most haunting and controversial tales in Philippine entertainment history. Her story encompasses themes of exploitation, power dynamics, and the dark side of fame, leaving a legacy that continues to raise questions decades after her passing. Pepsi Paloma was born Delia Dune Yaz Smith on March 11, 1966, in Manila, Philippines. She was of mixed Filipino-American descent, the daughter of a Filipina mother and an absent American serviceman father. Growing up in a poor household, Pepsi faced challenges from an early age. As a teenager, her striking beauty and charisma caught the attention of talent scouts, paving the way for her entry into the film industry. She became part of the Soft Drink Beauties, a group of young actresses in the 1980s who adopted screen names inspired by soda brands to evoke a bubbly, seductive appeal. Managed by talent scout and filmmaker Ray de la Cruz, Pepsi debuted in films that showcased her daring persona, often cast in provocative, risk roles. Movies such as Brown Emanuel and Snake Sisters cemented her image as a bold star, but fame came at a high cost. At the peak of her budding career, Pepsi found herself at the center of one of the most shocking scandals in Philippine showbiz. In 1982, she accused three high-profile comedians, Vic Sotto, Joey De Leon, and Richie De Horsey, of drugging and raping her in a hotel room. The three were part of the immensely popular noontime television show Eat Bulaga, and the accusations sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. According to Pepsi and her fellow actress Guada Guarin, the incident occurred after the two were allegedly lured to a hotel under false pretenses. Pepsi later described being forced to drink spiked beverages, after which she was sexually assaulted. The case became a media frenzy, sparking debates over celebrity privilege, victim blaming, and the culture of impunity. The rape case was filed, and for a brief period, it seemed like Pepsi was determined to seek justice. However, the proceedings were mired in controversy. The accused comedians denied the allegations, while their legal teams and fans painted Pepsi as a starlet seeking publicity. On the other hand, Pepsi and Guada faced immense public scrutiny, with their reputations questioned and their credibility attacked. Eventually, the case was settled out of court. Ray de la Cruz, Pepsi's manager, played a significant role in brokering the agreement, reportedly to protect her career. Vic Sotto, Joey De Leon, and Richie De Horsey issued a public apology, which was published in major newspapers. However, many speculated that Pepsi was coerced into withdrawing her complaint. Rumors of threats and intimidation swirled, including allegations that powerful figures warned her to remain silent. The settlement left many unanswered questions. While the public apology acknowledged wrongdoing to some extent, the lack of a full trial meant that the truth of the incident remained unresolved. After the settlement, Pepsi attempted to resume her career, appearing in more films. However, the scandal cast a long shadow over her life. Friends and colleagues noted that she was never the same after the incident. The pressures of fame, combined with the trauma of her experiences, appeared to take a toll on her mental health. Despite her efforts to move forward, Pepsi reportedly struggled with depression. She confided in close friends about feeling trapped and disillusioned by the entertainment industry. Her relationship with her manager, Ray de la Cruz, also reportedly became strained as she grew more frustrated with the trajectory of her career. On May 31, 1985, Pepsi Paloma was found dead in her apartment in Quezon City. She was just 19 years old. According to reports, she had hanged herself using a rope tied to a ceiling fan. A suicide note was discovered, in which Pepsi expressed feelings of despair and hopelessness. Her death was officially ruled a suicide. However, her untimely death only deepened the mystery surrounding her life. Conspiracy theories emerged, suggesting that her death was not a suicide, but a murder staged to silence her permanently. These theories pointed to the unresolved rape case and the potential involvement of powerful figures who wanted to bury the scandal once and for all. While no concrete evidence has surfaced to support claims of foul play, the circumstances of her death have continued to fuel speculation. Her manager, Ray de la Cruz, who had been instrumental in her career, was also found dead under suspicious circumstances a few years later, further adding to the mystery. Pepsi Paloma's story remains a cautionary tale about the exploitation of young women in the entertainment industry. Her case highlighted the vulnerabilities of actresses who, despite their fame, often had little power or protection in an industry dominated by influential men. In the decades since her death, Pepsi's name has been invoked in discussions about justice, victim blaming, and the abuses of power within Philippine showbiz. Renewed interest in her case has surfaced periodically, particularly in the context of the #MeToo movement and the push for greater accountability for sexual misconduct. Her story is often cited as an example of the systemic issues that continue to plague the entertainment world. Despite her brief career, Pepsi Paloma left an indelible mark on Philippine culture, a tragic symbol of what happens when the pursuit of fame collides with unchecked power and exploitation. The settlement of Pepsi's rape case out of court has long been a source of contention. Critics argue that it denied her the opportunity to fully present her case and achieve justice through due process. The public apology from the accused, Vic Soto, Joey De Leon, and Richie DeHorsey raised more questions than it answered. If they were innocent, why apologize? And if they were guilty, why were they allowed to escape full accountability? The power dynamics involved have led to speculation that the case was resolved not on its merits, but through influence and intimidation. Did Pepsi feel coerced into dropping the charges? Was she pressured to preserve the reputations of influential men at the expense of her own safety and dignity? These questions linger, pointing to a system that may have prioritized protecting the powerful over the pursuit of truth. Pepsi's case unfolded in an entertainment industry heavily dominated by male authority figures, where young actresses were often vulnerable to exploitation. Reports have suggested that threats were made against Pepsi and her family during the height of the scandal, deterring her from pursuing the case further. Were these threats credible? And if so, who was behind them? Did she feel she had no choice but to comply with the demands of those more powerful than her? These allegations of coercion are compounded by the mysterious deaths surrounding her case. Ray de la Cruz, Pepsi's manager and a key figure in the settlement, died under suspicious circumstances a few years after her death. Could his death have been connected to the secrets he may have known about the case? The lack of transparency surrounding these events has only fueled further speculation. Was her death truly a suicide? Pepsi Paloma's death has been officially ruled a suicide, but conspiracy theories persist. Was her death a result of the immense psychological burden she carried, or was it a staged act to silence her permanently? Some believe that her death conveniently erased the possibility of her speaking out about the events of 1982, especially as she grew older and potentially gained more agency over her narrative. The timing and circumstances of her death raise additional questions. Why did she take her own life at the peak of her career, when she was still young and had opportunities ahead of her? Did she leave behind any cryptic clues in her alleged suicide note, or was the note fabricated to support the narrative of suicide? The lack of a thorough investigation leaves room for doubt. What does her story say about exploitation in showbiz? Pepsi's case has become emblematic of the exploitation and mistreatment that women, particularly young and vulnerable actresses, have historically faced in the entertainment industry. Were there systemic factors at play that allowed her alleged assault to happen and her voice to be silenced? How many other young women in her time endured similar fates, but lacked the platform to speak out? The broader implications of her story resonate even today. raising questions about the persistence of misogyny, victim blaming, and unchecked power in the entertainment world. Would Pepsi's case have been handled differently in the present day, in an era where movements like #MeToo and widespread social media support have empowered survivors to speak out against abuse? Will the truth ever come out? Ultimately, the question that looms largest is whether the full truth of what happened to Pepsi Paloma will ever be revealed. Is there evidence or testimony still hidden that could shed light on her case? Are there individuals alive today who hold the key to unraveling the mysteries surrounding her life and death, but remain silent out of fear or loyalty? As time passes, the possibility of uncovering the truth becomes slimmer. Yet, the enduring fascination with her story suggests that her name will continue to be remembered, a symbol of unresolved pain and systemic failure. Filmmaker Daryl Yap has announced plans to release a biopic titled The Rapists of Pepsi Paloma in 2025, coinciding with the 40th anniversary of her controversial death. The film aims to explore the life and tragic demise of Pepsi Paloma, a prominent actress of the 1980s who faced intense public scrutiny following allegations of sexual assault by high-profile figures and her eventual death at just 18 years old. While officially ruled a suicide, her case remains shrouded in mystery and controversy. Yap's announcement has sparked significant online debate. Many see the project as a chance to shed light on gender-based violence and societal injustices, while others express concern about how the sensitive subject matter will be portrayed. Casting details remain under wraps, further fueling public curiosity and discussion about the film's direction and tone. If you're interested in following this project's development, I recommend keeping an eye on Yap's social media announcements or entertainment news outlets. Lastly, Pepsi Paloma's story, with all its unanswered questions, is a poignant reminder of how justice can be elusive in the face of power and influence. It challenges us to reflect on societal structures that enable such tragedies and to demand better for future generations. Her legacy, though born from tragedy, serves as a call to protect the vulnerable and amplify the voices of the silenced. This is The Vault of Horrors. Thank you for watching.